Alright. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Real Talk. I'm your host, RealTalk, and I am here with KingKamii. How are you doing today,
Hey, what's up?
KingKamii?
What's up? What's up?
That's alright. So, you've been, I wanted to invite you today and just ask you some questions. You're part of the Black community, and you seem cool, and I want to talk to you about your Mabinogi experience and what everything's been like for you. And I just wanted to get your perspective, you know, on the game and what's it's been like for you. You feel me? Alright. So let me know, guys, if you can hear us okay in the chat. We do have some background music for you guys, but let me know if you could hear us alright. um but let me actually on YouTube see if I can lower the volume a little bit. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna start off with the general questions today, and just ask some general questions, and we're gonna hit the deep topics and the hard topics. All right. So the first question I have for you is, what server are you originally from?
Alexandria. I know I'm
Alexandria.
probably pronouncing that wrong, but yeah.
Alexandria. Okay. And how long have you played for?
Yeah. Since 2009, 2010. I,
Okay. So
I
so
literally started my account like middle school.
so you're relatively an OG player, because Mabi came out
Yeah.
in 2008. So you came to the game right when the game was kind of still fresh.
Yeah.
Okay. What was Alexina like for you?
It
Your Ally.
was pretty chill. I picked it. I originally picked it because it was like the biggest server at the time, so it was pretty chill. It was like a lot of early days. It was like a lot of helpful players, so it was like it wasn't really like drama filled, I guess I could say.
Mm,
Like it was pretty lax. I enjoyed it.
got you. Early days. So early Alexina was chill.
Yeah, it was pretty chill. It was pretty lax.
Okay, got you. Um, why'd you pick the name King Kami? I wanted to ask you that because is that a Dragon Ball Z reference? Because of Kami?
Nah. A lot of people think that, but nah. It's actually. So when I first started Mobby, my first name was actually 0K998,
Mm,
and I used to go by the name Zero a lot because one of my favorite childhood games was Mega Man Zero.
I see.
So I used that, and then I switched to Kami because I changed my alias up.
Got you.
So King Kami just became one of my aliases for right now.
But why the name Kami? Or how did the name Kami come into your head?
That's actually a whole deeper other. So my name, well, for Mobby, it's King Kami, but like my original name was supposed to be Vab Dolly Kami,
Mm,
and Vab is self-explanatory. Dolly is supposed to be uh the word Dolly means, I think they said it meant like what was it? I forgot what the hell.
take your time.
Oh, it comes from ocean. It comes from the word ocean. I forgot because I
Oh,
thought it was something
ocean.
that meant teacher, but no, it comes from the word like ocean or big. So like I like to consider myself a chill person, so that's where the vibe dolly came from, and then God because power of self. So vibe dolly kami. I believe myself to be you know
Hmm.
just a elevated person mentally and
Got
pretty
you.
chill.
Pretty chill. Is it also a cultural thing too?
Yeah.
Got you. That's nice. So you're someone who's very in tune with their culture, and you kind of like brought it to Mobby a little bit.
Yeah. In tune with myself, culture.
Hmm. Okay, I mess with it. All right.
Thing too.
So you've been a long time player of Mobby. When you first came to the game, what was your first impressions?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. When I first started Mobby, I actually hated it
Really?
because I was coming from games like RuneScape
Hmm.
and like the combat in Mobby. I don't know if you remember how Mobby used to be before the combat update. Where like I don't like playing games where I can't make my character black, and I
Right.
couldn't make a black elf, so I was like, I'd be human. But it was like a kind of secondhand thing, so I was already in a bad mood about it. Which today I'm kind of glad I didn't have an elf because I don't like elves. Well, I don't like them as far as my play style, not for any other reason.
Got you. Okay. So your first character, you really being into combat, and you had a problem with the races, and you didn't like elves. Did you first pick an elf? I'm trying to clarify.
Well, in the beginning, I don't know. My cousin told me to pick a human first because you could get all the like you get a free elf and giant card.
Yeah.
So I started with a human, and then I got the elf card, and then I realized I couldn't make it black, so I stuck with the human.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit was stupid.
What was that like for people back then? Because like I heard a lot of people had problems with not being able to make their elves black.
Yeah, I mean, like people explained it in Mobby. You know, they have the explanation of like there's not really any black elves or something like that, or they're like supposed to be like they just don't exist in this type of universe, which I understand. Like if it doesn't fit the narrative, then I guess I understand it. But at the same time,
I
it was
don't
like,
understand it because I don't
yeah,
understand why they couldn't give elves back to them because elves are in the desert.
yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's what I was like. How you got these pasty, like the pasty characters in the desert, and then like the giants, who I guess you could say are the blacker characters, are like in the snow. Like it didn't make sense to me. But I was like, I mean, eh, I
Yeah.
wasn't. I'm not big on the Celtic stuff, so I didn't like know what the actual lore of it was. I
Hmm.
stopped paying attention to the story like around G11.
Got you.
I didn't. I don't know, but yeah, that was. And I had friends who were. You probably know some of them. You
Hmm.
probably know one of them specifically, but
Right.
I know she had an issue with not being able to make her character black, but she played the elf since day one, so
Right.
she was happy as hell when they changed that up.
I know a lot of people back in the day of not making the elves black. They had to wear something called a pumpkin crown to give their characters the lightest of tans, like the light a slight tan.
Just some a little bit of brown.
Yeah. It was a big thing, so I'm happy they finally um gave elves like tanner options because it was a really big problem.
Yeah. And then now since they did it, like it's like nothing really changed as far as like I guess you could say well, I don't know. I can't say the community, but like there's nothing bad that came from people being able to make black elves. So now it's just like, why the fuck y'all didn't do it earlier on? Like
Mhm.
when people actually wanted it.
Got you. What aspects of Mobby still kept you playing? Because I remember you just told me right now that when you first came to the Mobby, you hated it. So what aspects still kept you playing?
Largely in part is I would have to say the community. Like I
Hmm.
have a lot of I'm like deep rooted into like a lot of my online friends are from Mobby, and like I've met a lot of them in person and stuff, and they still play. So it's just like the one thing that always brings me back to Mobby is the community. Like it's we all know it's drama filled sometimes. It's some wild stuff that's happened over the years.
Right.
But like at the end of the day, it's some pretty cool people in Mobby. So I always end up coming back, joining a guild, either leading it or like being a member and just just meeting new people and just kicking it.
Got you. Alright, right. No one ever really quits Mobby. There's always that
Oh
type of
no.
nostalgia factor, or something that makes you come back, or that's someone that makes you want to come back.
Definitely true.
You said the community. So if there anybody you want to give a shout out to who may be watching, or anybody watching the stream, anybody in the community you want to give a shout out to that helped you with your Mabinogi experience.
My boy, Sage Fruin, that was like my first best friend in Mobby. He was an elf character.
Hmm.
He I actually found out we became friends. I actually found out he had the same last name as me in real life, which is crazy. But me and him, when Area got released, we used to run around Area, and I used to. That's why I learned archery in the game. I used to run around with a bow, like a crossbow, and we explored all of Area without pets. Like we literally ran all across Area, and we were
Right.
just like helping out people and stuff. So that was pretty dope. So that's like my brother. Shout out to him. Uh, yeah, I know y'all probably know Kerner Star. That's the
Oh,
homie
I
girl.
love me some Kermit.
Yeah, that's the homie. That's what I was talking about. Who was the elf character when they found out they was you can make a black elf character. She was fucking stoked about that. So that's the homie. Dude, I don't even know who else. I mean, it's a lot of people. I'm not gonna take like 5 minutes to just shout out everybody I know.
Right.
But the people who know me know that I always thinking of my friends. I'm always helping them out in the game. So
Hmm.
if I can't speak about them now, they already know.
Got you. How did you meet some? All right, you shout out two people. How did you meet Sage and how did you meet Kern?
Sage was random. He was a cool dude. Like he was one of those people who just go around helping people. So he started helping me out in the beginning, and
Hmm.
then it was just like we just became like exploration brothers, and we just had this thing where like every time we came across another player, we would just like see what they're doing, and like if we knew knowledge of the their
Hmm.
situation, we would just like try to help them out.
I see.
And
Gosh.
with Kerna, I'm not even sure how I met her. Yeah, that was years ago. I don't even know how I met Kerna. I'm not even gonna hold you. She probably don't even know either.
Okay. Now,
Oh yeah. Nah, go ahead,
okay.
go ahead. You get it.
So it's good you have that community aspect that still kept you playing the game and you had a tight social group. Um, as you see the game progress over time, we obviously talked about what you don't like. You didn't like Mabi's combat system at first. You know, would you still say the same thing about the combat system now? What has your
Uh,
opinion?
it's changed a lot because they added new weapons. The huge combat update that came later on.
Mhm.
Uh, I remember I had quit for a while until they brought Fighter out. I think around the time Fighter came out was when I got more serious about Mobby. But I love the combat now. It's pretty smooth. I mean, it has its jankiness. Guns are actually viable now, which I love. But it's pretty good. I love it. I love the combat now.
Got you. All right. What would be your favorite combat class then, or what do you usually
Cool.
play as?
So my main class is warrior.
Mm.
So that's like where I put most of my money into. But my absolute favorite class, and nobody can tell me shit about it, is alchemy. I will
Why?
always love alchemy. Alchemy is just smooth. It's the finesse of it. Like I call it like it's just so dope. Like I call it like the science of magic because it's like it's just dope. Like I don't even know. But I used to be a flame alchemist back in the day, so I had a volcano cylinder with the shield cylinder. I remember when Vates came out, and that they took a
Oh,
lot of money out of
yeah.
me because I put so much money in this game when Vates came out,
Mhm.
and I used to be a royal alchemist for like years at a time. So, but it just like at a certain point, alchemy just fell off because it's gear based. It's like gear and reforge based. So if you really don't have like the money to put into it, then it's not going to be viable in like later content. So it kind of just feeds out of my main uses. I mean, I still use it now for certain things, but I can't really I haven't I don't really want to put in the money to get a good ass build for it, and then only have to use water alchemy because I think water is better than fire at this point.
Got you. I heard alchemy is very expensive, especially in the end game. So,
Very.
yeah. All right. All right. 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 So let's talk more about your past. I remember you telling me you were talking before you had a guild previously that you led, and you had a guild named Wakanda. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
I can speak on that.
Okay.
So that was, I want to say 2018, 2017.
Mhm.
I don't remember when that was, but I made a guild. I was fresh out of mythicals, and a lot of people were like egging me on to make a guild, and they were just like, if you make it, I'll join it, and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a guild. I forgot how I chose. I think because Black Panther was big at the time, and
Mm.
I was like, yeah, and like Mobby also released the musician. No, I don't think the musician wig came out at the time, but no. So I ended up saying I was gonna make a guild called Wakanda. I thought somebody took it at first, but apparently not. So I made that guild. It actually got pretty big. I had 250 members in it, and it was pretty big for a while. But for some reason, I couldn't find like a reliable officer, like someone who could actually like help me like manage. So I was literally like taking care of it for the most part by myself,
Mhm.
and then I had to like managing that with work was kind of frustrating when you don't have help with people like helping you like manage and keep up with events and stuff like that.
Right.
So it eventually kind of fell off, and then I stopped playing for a while because of real life issues.
Got you.
And yeah, that's pretty much. I still own the guild on the alt because I was thinking of bringing it back, which I still might do, honestly.
I still have my old guild that I used to run colors. I put it on my alt, Riverston. And if I want to bring it back, it depends. I'm just really busy. You
Yeah,
know,
that's exactly what it is.
it's really hard because a guild is a community thing. So it's not just up to the guild leader to run to make sure the community stays intact. It's a community thing, so
Exactly.
everyone should be invested together, even the members.
Exactly. And then that's one thing I don't like about a lot of members in Mobby, because when they join guilds, they expect things to already be like going on and not for them to get involved in it. Like a lot of people, I want to say a lot of them are like kind of lazy in that aspect,
Hmm.
where it's just like when you join the guild, you expect to be like you expect events already to be going on. You like they don't really put in the effort to like help hold up the community of the guild,
Hmm.
but they be the main ones complaining about how like nothing is going on and
Right,
like
it's
there's
dead.
like no one's running this and no one's doing anything, but they don't say anything in the chats either. So it's just
Right,
like
they don't realize that they're part of the problem. Like,
exactly, and they
some
could be
people will
part of the
join, literally
solution.
join Discords and don't talk, and I'm like, why are you here?
Exactly. I mean, but it is what it is, man. I mean, you get some people who are like all for it and they help you out, but
Right,
then it's like the majority who just don't understand that guilds, like, even though you're just a member, like you don't have to be an officer to actually make a difference in the guild.
right. I completely agree. Like I said, guilds are a community thing, and it shouldn't just be up to the guild leader or the admins. It's to be up to the whole community members to keep the community bond strong because it's a community thing. Like you're all supposed to have like a bond, you know.
Exactly.
And if the bond isn't there, I wouldn't really see it as a guild or community. I see it as like a bunch of individuals in one space.
Exactly. It's just one person supposedly leading everybody else
Right.
instead of a group effort. Like I don't really put myself above anyone when I'm the leader of my guild. It's just that like I'm like in my guild right now, it got pretty big. I don't know how big it was community wise, but we've had a lot of members in this guild, and it's kind of the guild literally kind of became the guild name. So, but it's just like a lot of the people just didn't put in the effort into the community or into events, and I will always like host different things. Like I was hosting weekly Gigarashi stuff. I was doing commerce. We were doing raids of dungeons, SMs, and like nobody else made any effort to run anything or join in anything, but kept complaining about no one's doing nothing, no one's saying nothing, no VC.
Right.
So I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, I completely understand. I feel you.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, I think as a guild leader too, when you do get people like that, like a guild leader needs to have a lot of patience
No,
because burnout tends to happen so quickly, especially if you're in a leadership position and you could be struggling with getting to get things going. Like for me, I know when I had my guild colors, and sometimes if I'm trying to get motivate people to do things in the Black Discord, I have to wait a long time.
yeah,
Sometimes I get a little frustrating, but like sometimes my patience pays off in the end because I get periods of activity, lots of
yeah,
activity, because I'm patient and I try to motivate people. I do incentives. I give out prizes. I do like little game. I try to keep things going.
hmm,
And luckily, I have a really good admin team to help me too. Like the
which is
admin
great.
team with the Black Discord, they help me with a lot of stuff,
Shout out
and
to the
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate them for that because they care about the cause and they care about why that Discord exists, which is providing a safe space for other people for other Black people on the game, other Black players, and because they care deeply about it and they want to keep the community together. So I appreciate them for that, and I think me running communities on Mabi, I run a fashion community as well. I used to run a fashion community, but because I made my own fashion Discord and I gave it to somebody else. But me just having to run a lot of things, I've learned a lot of leadership skills through that, and I've learned a lot of patience. Isn't that the same for you when it came to Wakanda?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Yeah, because I've even before Wakanda, I was either officer or I was leading like a few guilds. Like I was officer and then leader of a guild called Feral.
Mhm.
I was officer then leader of a guild called Psychosis. I was officer and Mythicals for a minute for a while when they were kind of big. What was that other guild called? It was another guild that made my CRKs that I have. I forgot what that guild was called. They've been long dead, so I ain't worried about it.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It's just when you constantly get into that position, you just learn how to like pick up the people around you and just motivate them to do like certain stuff. And a lot of people don't talk about it, but being a leader of a guild is very expensive as well.
Yeah.
And that's not even counting like making like VIP and stuff like that, but like to host all those events and to like have giveaways, like to actually have that money, and then a lot of people don't really like donate, but they want to partake in it. Like it can be stressful, but it is very rewarding if it all goes to plan.
Yeah. I feel you. Okay, okay. Now let's talk more about. You said you were in a quite few guilds. You were in Mythicals, right? You own Wakanda, but you were in Mythicals. What other guilds were you in?
You said what other ones?
Yeah, Mythicals and what else?
Mythicals, Feral, Psychosis. I can't remember that other guild that
Okay.
it was one before Mythicals I was in. And of course this guild right now dead.
Did okay. So, if you were to describe your experience in each of them, I'm going to talk about Dead, but if you could describe your experience, like give a short summary of your experience with Mythicals, Feral, how were they? What were they like?
Errol was like my day ones. Like that's like where I met all of my like coming to age friends where we were like really getting serious into the game.
Mhm.
I actually there's actually someone in that guild whose name is Legend Star, who I've been friends with since like high school, and I'm still best friends with him now. And he actually ended up marrying his in-game girlfriend, like in real life. He moved in with her and everything, and his wife was actually my daughter in the game as well. So like my best friend ended up marrying my daughter in the game, and like they have like a kid together and everything. I still talk to him daily,
Ooh,
so
okay.
that's pretty dope with them. What was it? Psychosis was more of an experimental guild. It wasn't really anything too serious. My friend just wanted a guild, and I was officer to help her manage, but then she couldn't keep up with it. So since we still had a little community, I told her I'd take over it for a while, and I just babysat that guild until it kind of fizzled out.
Gotcha.
Um, Mythicals was a big experience for me because I had just came back to Mobby, and they had a really big community at the time. So uh, I don't know if people know or remember, or I don't know if people know, but the leader name was Diaz. He was like a brother to me too,
Mhm.
and I met a lot of cool people in there that I still talk to now. I think I met some people, like a lot of the people who left Mythicals went to Gucci. I was also in Gucci for a while too,
Mhm.
but I wasn't in there for more than I'd say 3 months. But Gucci was pretty it was pretty chill, but it wasn't my scene. It wasn't really my place. Like I didn't feel, no disrespect to them, but I didn't really feel comfortable in that community.
Right.
Uh and Dead was probably my favorite guild that I've been in because I've literally watched this guild grow from like 5 to 6 people to now we had about 200 something, and like it was at the point where we had like 20 active, at least 20 active people every day. Like it was pretty nice.
Got you. Got you. Got
And
you.
I'm
So,
really cool with the leaders and
crime.
all that.
That's Crime Scene's guild, right?
Yes, sir.
So, how did you meet Crime Scene?
Uh, Actually, it was one of the guild mates who saw me, and I became friends with her. And then she kept pressuring me to join the guild because I had just come back from another hiatus that I had. And they introduced me to Crime, and Crime was like, "Yeah, she would love to have me in the guild." And my friend was like, "Join the guild, join the guild." So I was like, I kind of wanted to be like, I honestly didn't want to at first. I wanted to be solo for a minute, but
Mhm.
I decided to join because it's really no harm that can be done. So I ended up joining, and I was talking to Crime because I have a thing where when I join guilds, I like to be on great speaking terms with the leaders.
Right.
So I usually talk to the leaders and the officers and try to get a handle on like how they see their own guild and how they want to go forward with it and stuff like that. So I'm pretty close to Crime, and it was an older officer that was also in it. Blind, what was it? Blind something. But yeah, I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty cool with Crime. Crime was pretty chill.
How did you end up becoming the officer? Because you know, how
Yeah.
how did you establish that trust between you and Crime to end up in this leadership position?
Honestly, I don't want to say it like that because that sounds kind of grimy. But I was I've helped. So Crime, even though she made the guild, she's not a very social person.
Mhm.
So I was I was more into the dead community, like helping out and stuff like that. And like I was becoming like more known in the group. I mean in the guild.
Mhm.
So the previous officer, he was playing, but he wasn't playing like that much. Like he was, I wouldn't say antisocial. Like he was more social to crime, but he wasn't as social enough to like, actually like do events and stuff like that. So I actually messaged him and asked him if like no disrespect, but would it be cool if I talk about maybe getting officer someday if you didn't like, want the position anymore. And he was actually cool with it. He was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't mind it," like stuff like that. So then I hit up crime, and she was like, "Yeah, she would love to have me as officer." So I think we went through like a week or a half transition because he wanted to he said he wanted some time to think about like, if he wanted to, drop down from the position or not.
Right.
And he ended up, giving it up to me, and that's pretty much all that is to that situation.
Got you. I used to know Crime's pretty. I used to know. I'm happy Crime made her own guild. I'm happy you're an officer. I used to know Crime back in the day when I used to go as Riverson. So I'm
Okay.
happy everyone in the dead community is doing well.
Yeah, she's pretty dope.
See, is pretty dope. All right. Um, comparing and contrast Mobby now. Um, what do you like about the game and what you don't like about the game? Because you've been here, you've been a part of classic Mobby, and now you're in Mobby present day. So what are notable differences you see between present Mobby and classic Mobby?
Well, for one, the community is kind of more silent. Like
Mm,
it's to be a lot more conversations going on with like randoms. Like nowadays, people, because back then we didn't even have Discord. Like people were still using TeamSpeak and Skype, and then
right,
they didn't even use it that much. So people weren't really in voice chat. So like how nowadays like people rarely use guild chat, like the in game guild chat.
right,
People rarely use that now. So it's just like being from a time when people used to be more vocal in the game versus how people are now where they expect you to like use your actual voice in voice chats. Like it's kind of displacing when you don't want to be like on that level of social with people you barely know.
right,
So I mean, I get it. It's kind of, it does bring people together in a sense, but like at the same time, like I don't always want to talk to all of y'all like with my actual voice. Like sometimes I just want to type. So I say like the community is a little more, I guess I could say, advanced when it comes to like trying to communicate with other people. Uh the combat again, like I said, is a lot better now than it was before. But I do miss how fights used to be a little more challenging in the sense that like you didn't die in one hit versus like strong monsters and stuff like that.
mm.
Like nowadays you pretty much either breeze through content or you down the first hit and there's no in between unless you're doing like,
What's your opinion on the quality of life update with the field boss raids and how they buffed them and
man, I am upset. It's cool. So from a like a community aspect, it's cool because it actually feels like a raid in the sense of like you either need a lot of people to take down monsters or you need to be like very strong. And it's both it's both refreshing and upsetting
mm-hmm.
because I used to be able to solo all of the field bosses. Like I used to be able to just run in and just like solo that stuff by myself. Like last night, like after I read the quality of life, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go fight Red Dragon. Red Dragon fucking destroyed me, bruh. like it was like I was barely doing damage to it, and it was just like it's easier to dodge attacks and stuff now, but it just like I couldn't really do, I could do damage to it, but it would take time for me to actually kill it versus me like killing a red dragon in like less than 3 minutes beforehand.
Right.
So it's just like it's different. I mean, it's cool in a social aspect because like, yeah, you need like a group and stuff to
Yeah,
actually
more
take it
party
down.
plays involved.
Yeah. And I'm so used to trying to be like a solo player like all the time. Like I don't usually get grouped up majority of the time. So it's kind of, it's kind of either or. It's like a coin. It's 50-50.
Do you think with the way things are set up now, it forces more social interaction because of how challenging shit is?
Yes and no. Yes, because you do need more. You do. People will need more help to take down monsters and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But no, because some people would just like, oh, I can't do it, then I'm just not gonna do it, and then they just don't worry about it no more, and then they just go do like something else until like a lot of people just get burnt out when they can't do certain stuff alone because they're used to being able to solo it.
Right,
I feel like a lot of people in the community are too dedicated to trying to solo content when the game is literally like it's an MMO, so you're
right,
supposed to do
multiplayer.
stuff. Yeah, you're supposed to do certain things with a group. Like it's not meant to solo, which is something I had to realize about me trying to fight the Red Dragon last night. Is like it's not meant to be soloed. It's meant to be a group effort. So, but at the same time, I knew I could kill it if I was stronger. So it's like I said, it's flip floppy. I
Okay,
understand it, but I don't like it. Let's put it like that.
got you. How do you think Nexon can improve the game?
Uh,
If you were to talk to the Korean developers right now, what would you say to them?
the I've only been back like maybe 2 weeks, but like I think I will say, I mean they've been on a roll for the past I say 2 years. They've been doing a lot of stuff. I will say that they've been doing stuff that they should have done like 10 years ago, but
Hmm.
they've been on a roll with like quality of life updates and they've been updating classes to make them more viable and stuff like that. Like, because for a long time people were like literally only using maybe fighter, bow, and warrior, and now I'm seeing like more diverse like characters. Like,
Hmm.
so it seems like people are using more stuff that they're comfortable with versus using something just because it does big damage. But
Got you.
as far as what they could change, I'm big on fashion, and I still don't see my dreadlocks in the dress moving because
I
bro, I have
mean, I just don't understand. In my opinion, I don't understand how they can have certain rings, certain wigs, not wings, wigs. Uh, can be Afrocentric. They have dreadlocks, like the musician, special musician wig,
yeah,
or like, but you can't make that a hairstyle.
bro.
Or
I've been saying that for years. Like, bro, they are literally missing out on money because I will pay to have dreadlocks in this game. I will literally give them money for that.
the thing is,
They have not.
Other Korean games are doing it. Like like Black Desert is doing it. Like
Yeah, they have some dope ass
because
hairstyles.
they know that they're making North American adaptations of their product. So they're
Exactly,
gonna try to market to a North American audience to make sure that North American brand stays good.
exactly. And I get that it's supposed to be like a fan.
More hairstyles, more Afrocentric hairstyles in the game, correct? And you're talking about we made we brought up an example of how there was a wig, um, special musician wig that had um dreadlocks and braids, and we talked about how they couldn't make it a hairstyle and
Yeah,
how the need for more diverse options. So
mm,
pick off where we left off and what you had to say about that.
mm. I was just commenting on how these days it shouldn't be too hard to understand that like you need more diverse hairstyles like that. Since
Mm,
majority of like any game, not even just MMO based, have like stuff like that included in the game. So I feel like that's kind of a bad I feel like that's bad research on their team on their part.
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's cool that they have it in as a wig, but I mean, honestly, all the wigs, I don't even think the game should have wigs to be honest with you. I think all of those should just be hairstyles that we have. I'm pretty sure people don't mind paying for it.
Right. Okay. Okay. Um. All right, let's talk more about. Speaking of more ethnic options, let's more talk about more about the Black Discord. How did you come across it? You know, how did you learn about the Black community Discord server?
Uh, how did I learn about this? Yo, shit. I think I got invited by somebody.
Mm,
Um, I honestly I cannot tell you. I know I do know someone else in this community that I was speaking to for a while. I think his name was Soul something.
mm,
I could be wrong. Uh, let me see if I can find this message right quick. Um, no, that's Uzu. I don't know how long ago I talked to him, but it was somebody else in the community I was talking to. I think he might have invited me, but I'm not entirely sure. But I do know someone invited me.
got you. All right, all right. What has been your experience as a Black player in this game?
Uh, honestly, it hasn't been too considering how bad like most video game communities are when it comes to like black people. Mobby, for me at least, I wouldn't say it was like too bad. Like I haven't came across like many like outwardly racist people.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's been pretty chill. I mean, yeah, it's been pretty alright,
You were
all
so
things
lucky.
considered. Yeah, I
I don't know
realized that.
why.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Cause for me, like I have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I know a lot of people who have a lot of stuff they want to talk about too. Like I have more um people of color guests, not just Black people who want to talk about stuff. But
yeah.
do you consider yourself blessed because of that?
Uh, I've never thought of it that way, but I mean, yeah, because like it definitely could have been worse. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, I'm honestly surprised. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm surprised, but I do know that there are like heavily like racist people in the game, and like they just like go overboard with it. But like, I don't really associate with people like that. Like, I don't really mess around in the drama stuff. So like, even if there was people like that, I just literally don't associate with them.
Yeah, I feel you. Cause you've seen some of the stuff I posted in the Black Discord, some of the racist incidents. The shit. And so like
Man.
when you see like incidents being reported in the Black Discord and stuff we report to Nexon, like how do you feel about those? Like when you see those?
Give me 1 second. All right, would you say that again? I'm sorry.
I said when you see like stuff like admins post or people post like about racist stuff happening in the Black Discord, right?
Mhm.
Like when we post stuff to warn people to stay away from this person, like how do you feel? Like when you see those types of posts, like what do you think? What comes to your head?
I mean, it just it's people like that. It's like I've been in multiple different game communities from different MMOs to, of course, Call of Duty and stuff like that. So, like
Right.
it's at a point where I'm kind of used to like being around like people who have that type of mindset,
Hmm.
but like I don't really give any power to it as far as like trying to like talk to them about and just be like, you know, you're wrong. You're not supposed to be thinking like that. Because it's at the bottom line for me, it's the internet.